gets it to go in the foul. Going under it. And he makes the catch. And for the first time since 2005, your Wellesley Raiders are the Division I South Sectional Champions. Back another way for the Raiders. Great shot. Score! Sophie Brady finds the back of the net from the faceoff circle, and with 1:14 to go, the Raiders take a 3-2 lead.
And welcome back to an all-new Black Red Blitz. As always, I'm your host, Rebecca Cahn. Well, this time around, we get to focus in on some great divisional rivalries as field hockey, boys soccer, and football get a chance to bring a little extra intensity onto the turf. As this jam-packed episode gets kickstarted first with some great matchups between Natick and Walpole. So let's waste no time in getting to all the action first as we head to Sprague Field for field hockey. As the Raiders, winners of their last 7, have opened their regular season strong, looking pretty unstoppable, and have no intentions of slowing down as the Red Hawks of Natick come in here on Thursday. The Raiders strike fast in this opening first half when Captain Phoebe Lawrence takes the feed and centers her shot towards the box. Ball deflects off Christina Polymeris' stick and Maddie Clark can't save it. And that goes down as a Lawrence score off the deflection. Wellesley quickly has a 1-0 edge. But Natick would not have to wait long for their equalizer. On this fast break, Allison Collins feeds it to Shayla George. George centers it to Marie Canty, and Canty finishes with the one-timer. Both teams have started this first ready and on the attack. We stand in at 1-1. Minutes later, Raiders relentless around the box again, and defending the crease, it looks like Maddie Clark is called for delay of game or goalie interference as the ball gets stuck in her leg pad. Either way, Clark is clearly annoyed with the call, as this gives Wellesley as prime time as any to potentially bury the go-ahead score with a rare one-on-one penalty shot. It's up to Devin Chapman to give Raiders back the lead here. Chapman doesn't disappoint. Clark can't do anything but throw down her stick in disgust. Might be a good time to take a timeout here, Redhawks. You know, give your goalie a chance to cool down. As Devin Chapman's goal sure helps Wellesley head into the final 25 minutes with a 2-1 advantage. So after 3 goals were pushed across in the first half here in this final frame, the sticks would go silent as neither side would see that ball cross the goal line again. As Redhawks would not find the equalizer, and the Raiders hold on to win. Penalty shot goal scored by Devin Chapman was the game changer in this one, as Wellesley can add another W to their already outstanding team stats. The final would stand here, Raiders 2, Redhawks 1. Now speaking of winning streaks, how about boys soccer, who also continue to impress with their own stellar regular season? Since their season opener loss to Walpole on the road back on September 5th, since then, the Raiders have won 6 straight. And pretty convincingly in those victories as well, I might add. So with the Redhawks also stopping in here at the stadium, you knew these two squads who know each other quite well would be competing 100% in the opening face-off to the very last whistle. So after Wellesley builds a 1-0 advantage in this opening first thanks to a Christopher Cope score, we head to the second, looking for more leverage here as a 1-goal lead in soccer can easily be erased. Well, check out some solid passing on this play. Ryan Moen feeds it ahead to Willie Corkill. Corkill sets and connects on the kick. Ryan Clare finds it and buries the header. And that goal extends a Raider lead to 2-0. Just a few minutes later, what a clear out here by Anders Pinot that finds air and then some, as the ball quickly lands upfield, connecting with Christopher Cope on the run. Cope maneuvers around Redhawks defense, lays down a perfect feed, and Ryan Clare colliding with Luke Hill still goes back to back. This shot also finds net. And Raiders are in control here in this final frame, as they now hold a 3-spot lead over Natick. By the time the Redhawks find a way to erase the shutout Wellesley has going for them, well, it's spare minutes left to take away the second half. And still down 3-1, it does nothing to change the momentum of this game. But instead it would just become a stat for Natick to add in later. Christopher Cope sparked it back in the first, and Ryan Clare took care of the rest, as Raiders really commanded this match from the very start. The Redhawks were not able to bring this streak to a halt either, as 7 straight sounds pretty good here, with the Raiders taking a 3-1 victory over the Redhawks. Well, it's safe to say that both the Walpole and Wellesley football programs bring a little extra intensity and hard work to their practices before these two rivals meet up on the field for a competitive divisional battle. And despite switching things up this time around with a Sunday afternoon kickoff, the electric atmosphere on the field would be no different, as the 2-1 Raiders would host the 1-2 Rebels. Both sides bringing it defensively, but do you really expect anything less? After both offenses go 3-0 to start this first, Rebels start to get things going here. Third down, Josh Cahn charges in on the blitz. Quarterback Brett Levangie gets the throw off just barely, and Drew Von Clock reels in the catch and eats up a ton of real estate as well. By the time Von Clock is brought down, that catch goes for 26 yards and a first down. Then at the Wellesley 25 second down, Brett Levangie drops back and finds Andrew White open on the slant for 14 more, and another Rebel first down. The Raiders defense is just plain suffocating here in the red zone, as Josh Cahn brings down Brett Levangie for the much-needed sack. More importantly, it's now fourth down. So, Walpole decides to go for the field goal, and Brett Levangie, also doing the kicking, waits for the snap. It's there, but so is Deontay Moore. Moore blocks it, chases down the deflection, and Walpole, looking to at least get 3 points out of that drive, instead come away with nothing. All thanks to the pressure from Deontay Moore. After another Wellesley 3-and-out, Rebels start at their own 38. On the draw, Brett Levangie hands off to Drew Von Clock. And Von Clock just uses his speed to eat up even more yardage on the ground to close out this first quarter. After Rebels tight end Kyle Smith brings out another first down catch, Walpole edges even closer to the end zone. A few downs later, Rebels find themselves with a 4th and 2 situation. Raiders defense ready to bring down the goal line stand. But Brett Levangie, play action fake under pressure again, sees Kyle Smith open on the tight end delay. And Kyle Smith brings it in for the first touchdown of the game as the Rebels take a 7-0 lead. So heading into the half, down by a touchdown, that is where Raiders make the needed adjustments. As they get the ball here to start the third and start moving the ball downfield. Sparked by this play, under pressure, Jack Tishman quarterback rollout makes a tough throw on the run for a solid pass, but an even better catch as Deontay Moore reaches up and brings it down. Then on this key third down, Jack Tishman in the pocket gets solid protection just enough to throw it deep to Hugh Callahan. Clutch catch by Hugh Callahan. 1st and 10 at the Rebels' 11-yard line. So, here we go. Jack Tishman takes the snap, quarterback keeper finds a hole up the middle, breaks a tackle, and no one is getting Tishman down as he rumbles through into the end zone for the touchdown. And that is the response you want and need as a team facing a deficit coming out of halftime. Put 10 solid plays together and drive down 69 yards to tie this game up in the third, 7-7. Raiders' next possession, though, they're forced to punt. And this is a day for blocked kicks, as now it's Rebels' turn here. Henry Dundon comes charging through, blocks the punt, and Daniel O'Leary scoops it up and isn't brought down until O'Leary's inside the 10. Just a frustrating play here for Wellesley, as now Walpole has fantastic field position in the red zone. That play helps close out the third. The game is still tied up at 7. So it's the fourth and final quarter, and now backed up by a Rebels penalty. Walpole instead lines up for a longer 3rd and goal situation. But somehow quarterback Brett Levangie makes that a positive, as it leaves more room for him to step back, see the field, connect with Drew Von Clock again, and Von Clock gets around to tackle and then some. And brings home his 2nd touchdown catch on the day, as this one gives Rebels back the lead, 13-7. But good news for Raiders, Rebels missed the point after, because bad news for Walpole, it looks like they replaced their kicker with myself. So with that not even a close try, Rebels' lead remains at 13-7. Wellesley defense is just plain gritty here in this fourth down. Hope Fletcher blitzes through the middle and gets to Brett Levangie. Wellesley's still in it with Fletcher's clutch sack forcing a turnover on downs. This late in the game, Raiders know a touchdown and point after win this thing. The Walpole secondary has just been dominant all game. And that's made even more clear on this play, as Raiders' very next snap, Tishman throws deep, but Chase Conrad comes down with the catch instead for the drive-killing pick. And that's a gut-wrencher right there. Rebels just have to run down the clock now, and that is game, as Walpole holds on to win a close one. Raiders were able to find the end zone after the last 6 quarters here at home denied access to it. But Rebels would answer right back with that go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter. The Raiders' comeback bid would unfortunately fall short here. Rebels on the road come in and take this one by the final 13-7. Speaking of intense matches, how about Wellesley and Walpole when it comes to field hockey? Now that is an exciting history, with Walpole beating Wellesley for the last 20 seasons. But that was before 2014, because Wellesley finally broke that streak in that regular season with a hard-fought tie. And then who could forget first-round playoffs at Walpole in the rain? Wellesley beat the Porkers with penalty shots. But even since then, a lot still has happened. As in, Raiders' confidence as a team keeps getting stronger and stronger, competing against a Porkers team that boasts multiple state titles. This is a match every Raider looks forward to. One thing's for sure, these players are not intimidated by the defending state champs. And so after a scoreless draw to open up the season, it brings us back to this match here on Tuesday. As Walpole starts with some pregame chants of "We are beating Wellesley," you gotta think that's added motivation for Wellesley. So in these early minutes of this opening half, with a couple attempts getting denied, Elise Coakley snags the rebound and brings the ball back out to Phoebe Lawrence. Lawrence centers it to Alex Ramsden. Ramsden, while falling down, cranks a slap shot high. That shot deflects off Brooke Hamilton's stick, and Raiders are in a 1-0 advantage just like that. Porkers, yeah, still never going to get used to that name, would not have to wait long for the equalizer though, as Celia Walsh takes the feed inside and sticks in the finish, and that score by Walsh ties it back up at 1-1. Now remember last season Walpole came into Sprague Field to see Wellesley jump out to a 1-goal lead, just to answer back with 5 scores of their own unanswered. Well, guess what? Raiders defense here ain't joking around in this one. With Alex Ramsden and Phoebe Lawrence both guarding the box, any rebounds? Cleared out. And while Natalie Boyle has been solid in net whenever challenges have come her way, well, especially deeper into this first nearing the half, there would be plenty of tests, as Walpole would consistently attack the box. But Boyle would deny them, even making point-blank saves to keep this locked in at 1-1. Second half begins even more of the same, as both Raiders and Porkers would get a few great chances here, but nothing else would find the backboard. Goalies from both sides, any say in this. And so with seconds left to this final frame, Porkers have one last shot here, but get denied yet again, as Raiders' core defense would have none of it. Final whistle blows, and while it wasn't a win against a powerhouse team like Walpole, it might as well been. Wellesley is more than happy to take a point and call this a final 1-1 draw. And Porkers maybe change that pregame chant. Just saying. After getting shut out on the road pretty convincingly by number 1 Natick, who still remains unbeaten, girls soccer would follow that up with a hard-fought scoreless tie against a solid Walpole squad that is more than capable of scoring at will. So with that momentum giving Raiders even more confidence, Wellesley would be back at home on Thursday, ready to face off against another Bay State Conference opponent, the Newton North Tigers. And while the Raiders keep improving and having a ton of fun while doing it, right here Tigers would find out not only do Raiders have a pretty solid offense, but number 22, namely senior captain Kaylin Tchaikovsky, well, it's easier said than done trying to cover her. You'll see what I mean. Trust me. Kickstarting this first half, Wellesley comes out aggressive and Bridget Noonan connects on a booming kick. It hits crossbar, rebound bounces out right to Kaylin Tchaikovsky, but the putback sails too high. Let's just say that's the only shot Tchaikovsky would want to retry on. So here we go, crossing midfield, Bridget Noonan boots it downfield, just waiting for Kaylin Tchaikovsky on the run. Goalie Oksana Kelly comes way out to the 10 to defend, and Tchaikovsky makes Kelly pay as she scores on the empty netter. And it's 1-0 Wellesley. Fast forward to stoppage time, Newton North strikes on this breakaway. Ariana Bunch finds separation and buries it near post. Bunch next to the equalizer that would end this opening half, tied at 1. Great for Tigers, but not so for Wellesley, as the refs didn't clearly inform anyone that stoppage had, well, started. So Coach Whitehill not happy with the refs. Let's just hope it doesn't come down to that goal that was just allowed, affecting the final score. Thankfully, we don't have to wait long to find out, as it would be locked in at 1-1 no more as we start the second half. Avery Moen fights for possession, dishes it ahead to Kelsey Zarl, and Zarl finds Kaylin Tchaikovsky in stride with the cross. Tchaikovsky nets her second like it's no biggie, and that go-ahead score gives Wellesley back that 1-goal edge. And just under 14 minutes to go in this final frame, Raiders get the dagger here on this breakaway. Brooke Baker with a solid cross to Tchaikovsky, and Caitlin Tchaikovsky easily buries it, and that is a hat trick, as this score easily puts the game away. Tchaikovsky 3, Tigers 1. Goalie Mackenzie O'Neill then helps preserve this Wellesley advantage on this play, as this loose ball could be trouble, but O'Neill snatches it away from Izzy Bledsoe and Ariana Bunch, and the Raider 2-goal lead remains intact. And so that 3-1 advantage would become a final as well. And it's safe to say a hattie by senior captain Caitlin Tchaikovsky would be huge in this one, as all scores would come from number 22. And that is a W Raiders needed as they fight deeper into October. The fight for a tourney spot that much closer. Sticking with girls soccer, we stay with more Bay State Conference action, but skip ahead to 5 days later, with the Raiders looking for their second win in a row. With the players wearing pink head and hairbands helping bring breast cancer awareness to the forefront, the Raiders would be ready to face the struggling Norwood Mustangs. And it's safe to say here on Tuesday, Norwood would have no clue what was about to hit them. And so what was great to see in this game was not just the offensive spark by this Raiders team that stayed lit all game, but to see some different players step up and make a difference. One of them would be Izzy Turco, getting the start for this one as well. And Turco makes it count. Kelsey Zaro lays down some solid ball handling, sets and centers it to Turco. And Izzy Turco easily buries it for a 1-0 lead. Deeper into this first, Raiders would continue to dominate time possession in their own offensive zone. And Mustangs defense would leave too many one-on-one situations for goalie Delia Bartuka to defend. As this score here also goes Wellesley's way, thanks to this finish by Charlotte Fournier. 2-0 Raiders. Just minutes later, a careless miscue by Rachel Ringler, who feeds the ball way too slowly back to Bartuka for the clear. Charlotte Fournier reads it, breaks up the pass, effects the cross to JoJo Kennedy, and Kennedy has an empty net to bury her first of the game. The Raiders have a solid 3-0 lead as we head to the final frame. Sorry Mustangs, but that halftime break would do nothing to cool down Raiders' hot offense, as Izzy Turco sparks the second half scoring as she did back in the first. With some nasty footwork here, Turco gets around Ali Giambanco. Then Giambanco just gives up on defending her. Turco now sees she's wide open, sets and makes Mustangs pay as her second score finds all net again. And that gives Raiders an even better advantage here, up by 4. Honestly, the one bright spot for the Mustangs is their goalie. As yes, Delia Bartuka has let 4 through, but let me tell you, she's legit made at least a dozen other saves. Ones like this one that could have easily have made this a double-digit lead. And kid, I don't blame you for laying down on the ground after that save. I'd be exhausted too. After JoJo Kennedy then nets her second, a 5-0 lead would change just as fast. As just under 60 seconds later, another empty net awaits a Raider after Brooke Baker and Bartuka collide. Charlotte Fournier's second score makes it a commanding 6-0 lead. So Mustangs never really had a shot all game, as Kennedy, Fournier, and Turco took care of all the scoring in this one. Mustangs remain still looking for their first win of the season, as Raiders keep improving their team chemistry and their record, thanks to a 6-0 shellacking over the Mustangs. Well, as we started this episode with field hockey, let's end with it as well. After that tie to Walpole, the Raiders would be on the road for their next 2, where surprisingly they would see their unbeaten streak come to an end at Norwood. But hey, better to get that first loss out of the way in the regular season before it really counts come tourney time. Trust me, just ask the Patriots. So at 9-1-2, their solid Wellesley team has a tourney spot in view. Their focus on the opponents who remain, ready to kickstart a brand new winning streak. As the Milton WILDCATS would come into Sprague here on Thursday, looking to catch these Raiders off guard. But they would be disappointed as the scoreless opening half would fly by here thanks to some key stuffs by Natalie Boyle. And as we move into the second, Raiders would control possession here as the shots keep coming. But off these back-to-back attempts, you gotta give goalie Mary O'Connell credit as well, stepping up and denying these solid chances to keep us still locked in at all zeros. But after multiple penalty corner shots would be rejected, Raiders finally break through on this one, almost midway through the final frame. Brooke Hamilton, the setter, dishes out to Alex Ramsden. Ramsden, the attacker, doesn't hesitate and rips the shot. Ball hits corner post and ricochets left and into the cage. and that is clutch, as Wellesley now holds a 1-0 advantage. And before Wildcats can even think of creating an offensive chance to answer back with the equalizer, Raiders strike again, efficiently putting this game away here, as Brooke Hamilton buries her own score right here. And so Wellesley gets 2 solid goals by Hamilton and Ramsden in this key second half. And that's all that is needed for Wellesley to get right back in the win column as they shut out Milton, and now can turn all their focus to their next exciting challenge, the D2 powerhouse Watertown Red Raiders, kickstarting next week's action. But for now, the final in this one stands in at 2-0 Raiders. Well, that is it for this episode, but now that we're in the month of October, that means the games are even that more important, the opponents even tougher, as everyone fights harder for that coveted tourney spot. But don't worry, we'll keep you covered with all the exciting highlights, so look for an all-new Black-Red Blitz next week. In the meantime, if you missed out on any exciting games and highlights, well, check us out on demand at wellesleymedia.org, or our YouTube and Facebook pages at Wellesley Public Media, and of course, right here, Comcast 9 and Verizon 39. As always, thanks for watching Black-Red Blitz. Go Raiders.
Now Hubbard coming out to play. Hubbard gets leveled. And oh my goodness.